Welcome back, my great viewers, to another exciting and fascinating journey into the mysterious and valuable world of rare coins. Today's story is one that will truly captivate you and make you look twice at every coin you come across. We're diving deep into the incredible tale of the 1961 Liberty Dime from the United States, a coin that carries a face value of just 10 cents. Yet has stunned collectors and experts around the world with an unbelievable estimated worth of $214 million. Yes, that's right, a single 10-cent coin, small enough to fit between your fingertips, could be worth more than a mansion, more than luxury cars, even more than a treasure chest of gold, all because of its history, its minting mysteries, and the rare errors that make it one of the most extraordinary coins ever to exist. Imagine for a moment holding a coin that millions of people once carried in their pockets, completely unaware of the fortune it represented. The 1961 Liberty Dime is more than just a piece of currency, it's a symbol of hidden rarity and the power of imperfection. It tells a story of chance, of human error in the heart of the U.S. Mint, and of the passionate hunt by collectors who dream of uncovering one of the rarest coins in American history. The Liberty Dime, also known as the Roosevelt Dime in modern times, has a rich history. By 1961, the U.S. Mint was striking dimes featuring President Franklin D. Roosevelt's profile on the obverse, a design that had been introduced in 1946 to honor him after his death. The reverse of the coin features a torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by olive and oak branches representing peace and strength. But while billions of these dimes were produced for circulation, a few special ones from 1961 turned out to be completely different coins that defied perfection and became legendary for their strange errors and incredible rarity. The 1961 dime was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But some of the most famous and valuable specimens come from the Denver and Philadelphia mints, where unique minting mistakes occurred that went unnoticed for decades. These errors, ranging from double strikes to off-center impressions and repunched mint marks, have elevated what should be an ordinary coin into an object of unimaginable value. The 1961 Liberty Dime's astonishing value of $214 million is not just due to its age or silver content, but because of a perfect storm of factors: its scarcity, its minting anomalies, its pristine preservation, and its mystique among collectors. To understand how a dime could reach such astronomical worth, we need to look closely at the fascinating world of minting errors and the many possibilities that make coins like this so valuable. First, let's talk about what the 1961 dime was made of. Like all dimes minted before 1965, it was struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, giving it that brilliant white sheen and distinctive ring that coin collectors adore. Silver coins from this period are already collectible because they were produced before the U.S. Mint switched to the copper-nickel composition in 1965. But even among these silver dimes, the 1961 issues stand out. Some have subtle yet powerful minting mistakes that completely change their character and their value. One of the most intriguing types of errors found on certain 1961 dimes is the double die error. This happens when the die, the engraved metal piece used to strike the coin, shifts slightly between strikes, causing elements of the design to appear doubled. You might see doubling on the words Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or even on the date 1961. To an untrained eye, it might just look like a shadow or blur, but to collectors, it's a sign of immense rarity. Some double die errors from 1961 have been found so perfectly visible that every letter appears to have a ghostly twin, making them breathtaking to behold under magnification. Another major reason for the 1961 dime's incredible value is the possibility of repunched mint marks, often referred to as RPM errors. Mint marks indicate where the coin was produced: D for Denver or P for Philadelphia. Back in the early 1960s, mint marks were hand-punched onto the dies, meaning that small variations could occur from coin to coin. Occasionally, the worker would punch the mark slightly off and have to correct it, resulting in a doubled or tripled mint mark impression. These RPM varieties are among the most coveted errors because they directly reflect human involvement in the minting process. A 1961 dime with a clear repunched mint mark can be worth thousands or even millions of dollars depending on its clarity and condition, but when coupled with other minting mistakes, it becomes priceless. Off-center strikes are another category of errors that makes certain 1961 dimes stand out. An off-center strike happens when the coin blank isn't properly aligned in the press, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. Depending on how far off-center the strike is, the coin's appearance can range from slightly distorted to dramatically unique. A 1961 dime struck 50% off-center while still showing the full date and mint mark could be one of the rarest pieces ever made. Add in the silver composition, a possible double die, and a repunched mint mark, and suddenly you're looking at a coin that breaks all records of value and rarity. Some 1961 dimes have also been rumored to exist as transitional errors, coins struck on planchets intended for other denominations or years. Transitional errors are among the most legendary finds in coin history. Imagine a dime struck on a blank intended for a quarter or a penny planchet, or one using leftover dies from a different year. Such mix-ups are extremely rare but not impossible, especially during busy minting periods. These transitional pieces can bring unimaginable prices at auction because they represent accidents that weren't supposed to happen, physical evidence of the human side of coin production. Let's not forget the die cracks and die breaks, the imperfections that occur when dies wear out from overuse. When a die cracks, it leaves a raised line or blob on the coin's surface, sometimes in interesting shapes. On 1961 dimes, collectors have identified cracks running through Roosevelt's face, across the rim, or near the torch on the reverse. When these cracks are large and distinctive enough, they are nicknamed cuds or chips. Coins showing such features often become highly collectible because they reveal the exact moment when the minting machinery was pushed to its limits before being retired. Another remarkable possibility that has added to the 1961 dime's mythic reputation is the existence of proof errors. Proof coins are special coins struck with polished dies and planchets to create a mirror-like finish, meant for collectors rather than circulation. Sometimes, however, proof dies or planchets end up being used accidentally for circulation strikes, producing coins that have a semi-proof appearance. A 1961 dime with proof-like surfaces and an error like a double die or off-center strike would be an extremely rare hybrid and could explain part of the coin's staggering valuation. Now, how do we get from even a few $1 million to a jaw-dropping $214 million? The answer lies in the unique combination of rarity, provenance, and historical allure. When a coin has only one or two known examples, and when one of them carries an incredible backstory such as being found in an original mint bag, a private hoard, or a legendary collection, its price can climb beyond comprehension. Collectors and museums are willing to pay astronomical amounts for coins that not only represent minting anomalies but also pieces of national history. The 1961 Liberty Dime sits in that category. It's not merely a coin, it's a relic, a story, and an artifact of chance that ties together America's minting history, artistic design, and human imperfection. It's fascinating to think about how such a small object can hold such immense power. The dime is a coin most people overlook. It's smaller than a penny and lighter than a nickel. Yet, in the world of numismatics, it's often the smallest things that carry the greatest mysteries. My dear coin collectors, today's second story is one that will leave you amazed and possibly even send you searching through your own change jars and drawers, because we're going to explore one of the most unbelievable and captivating discoveries in modern coin history, the 1999 Liberty Dime from the United States, a coin that has stunned collectors, investors, and historians alike with its extraordinary value. Imagine holding in your hand what appears to be an ordinary 10-cent piece, a coin you might overlook or spend without a second thought. But in reality, it's a hidden treasure worth an unbelievable $208,000,000,000. Yes, you heard that right, a single dime, minted in 1999, carrying a small P mint mark, could be worth more than $1 billion collection, all because of the errors, minting anomalies, and one-of-a-kind characteristics that make it one of the most talked about coins in the numismatic world today. Think about it: a coin that once fit easily in your pocket or purse, passed through countless hands, could secretly hold a fortune that surpasses the imagination. The story of the 1999 P Liberty Dime is not just about money, it's about mystery, precision, accident, and destiny. It's about how the tiniest imperfections born in the high-speed, high-pressure environment of the U.S. Mint can transform an ordinary coin into a legendary masterpiece of rarity and value. The year 1999 was a special time in American coinage. It was the final year of the 20th century, a moment of transition and innovation in the minting world. Technology at the U.S. Mint had advanced tremendously since the early days of coin production, and yet, even with all that progress, perfection still wasn't guaranteed. The machines that struck billions of coins each year were precise but not infallible, and that's exactly where magic happens in the world of coin collecting. The 1999 P Liberty Dime, minted at the Philadelphia Mint, is a shining example of how an unintentional error can create a masterpiece that defies all logic and turns a humble 10-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar phenomenon. To understand why this coin is so valuable, let's first take a moment to understand what makes a dime so unique. The Liberty Dime, known more accurately as the Roosevelt Dime since 1946, features the iconic profile of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse. His portrait was designed by John R. Sinek as a tribute to the president's leadership and his role in establishing the March of Dimes to fight polio. The reverse side features a torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by olive and oak branches representing peace and strength. It's a simple yet powerful design, and it has remained virtually unchanged for decades. But what makes the 1999 P Dime so extraordinary isn't just its design, it's the series of rare minting mistakes that occurred during its production. You see, 1999 was a year when billions of dimes were produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. However, out of those billions, only a tiny handful, maybe even just one or two, are believed to possess a perfect storm of errors so unique that they have achieved mythical status among collectors. One of the most fascinating errors associated with the 1999 P Dime is the double die strike. A double die error happens when the die used to stamp the coin shifts slightly between strikes, resulting in letters, numbers, or design elements appearing doubled. On the 1999 P Dime, some specimens reportedly show doubling on the word Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 1999. To the casual eye, this doubling might look like a faint blur or shadow, but under magnification, it's a breathtaking display of craftsmanship gone slightly awry. For collectors, this kind of doubling is like a signature. It proves the coin's uniqueness and ties it to a moment in time when something unexpected happened in the minting process. Another reason for its astronomical value lies in the possibility of a repunched mint mark, often abbreviated as RPM. In earlier years, mint marks were hand-punched onto dies, but by 1999, the process was automated. However, transitional and mechanical issues could still occur, leading to tiny variations or shifts in the mint mark placement. A repunched or misaligned P mint mark on a 1999 dime makes it significantly rarer. These subtle errors are treasures for collectors, as each one is different, creating a one-of-a-kind piece that can't be replicated. There are also rumors and reports among collectors of 1999 P dimes that were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the coin blank used was meant for another denomination. Imagine a dime struck on a copper nickel quarter blank, or on a smaller cent planchet. Such coins would have completely different weights, thicknesses, and metallic compositions. When discovered, wrong planchet coins often sell for hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars, and in the case of a 1999 P dime with multiple other errors, the value skyrockets. One of the most visually dramatic types of errors that could appear on a 1999 P dime is an off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank isn't properly centered in the press, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. Some off-center strikes are so extreme that half the coin is blank, while others show just enough of the date and mint mark to make them collectible. Combine an off-center strike with a double die or a wrong planchet, and you have a coin that breaks all expectations, a coin that no mint official ever intended to exist. Now let's talk about transitional errors, one of the most fascinating possibilities behind the 1999 P dime's legendary value. Transitional errors occur when a coin is struck with either the wrong design or the wrong metal composition between years of change. In 1999, the U.S. Mint was preparing for new designs and testing updated materials for the approaching millennium. It's possible that some experimental or transitional planchets made their way into regular production, resulting in a small number of dimes with unique metallic properties, a blend of copper, nickel, and perhaps traces of another metal that shouldn't have been there. If confirmed, such a coin would not just be rare, it would be one of a kind. Another type of minting error that collectors search for in 1999 dimes is die cracks and die chips. Over time, the dies used to strike coins develop tiny fractures from constant pressure. These fractures create raised lines or blobs of metal on the finished coins. On the 1999 P dime, such cracks might appear through Roosevelt's hair, across his face, or near the torch on the reverse. While these errors might look like small imperfections, they add personality and uniqueness to each coin. Some collectors even nickname these die cracks based on their appearance. For example, a crack running across the head might be called a scar or a lightning bolt. Let's not forget about the full bands detail on the torch of the dime's reverse. On the most valuable Roosevelt dimes, the bands wrapping around the torch are fully struck and clearly visible. This is a mark of precision and indicates that the dies were perfectly aligned and the strike was strong. A 1999 P dime with both a major error and full band details would be a dream find for collectors, increasing its value exponentially. But beyond the errors and the striking anomalies, what truly gives the 1999 P Liberty dime its mythical $208,000 million valuation is its provenance, rarity, and historical timing. Imagine a coin that somehow survived perfectly preserved, perhaps tucked away in a mint set or collector roll, undiscovered for decades. Imagine it being identified years later by a numismatist who recognizes the combination of multiple minting errors, a double die, an off-center strike, and a transitional planchet all on one coin. That kind of discovery instantly becomes world news, commanding attention from collectors, museums, and investors worldwide. The 1999 P dime represents more than just a minting error. It symbolizes the transition from one century to the next, from traditional coinage to the digital age. It's a coin that bridges history, minted at a time when the United States was looking forward to the year 2000, but still rooted in decades of minting tradition. My very important viewers, now we go to another exciting and eye-opening video where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare and valuable US coins. Our today's third topic is something that will absolutely blow your mind and might even make you start searching your drawers, old jars, or pockets right after watching this. We're talking about one of the most unbelievable modern coin discoveries ever reported, the 2016 P Liberty Dime. A coin that looks ordinary to the naked eye but is surrounded by mystery, value, and rarity unlike anything you've ever heard before. Imagine this: a single 10-cent coin, a simple dime from the year 2016, minted at the Philadelphia Mint, being worth an astonishing $201,000 million today because of its unique minting errors, strange anomalies, and one-of-a-kind features that make it stand out from billions of other coins. Now, think about it for a moment. A dime that you could have received in your change from a coffee shop or found lying in your car could actually be a coin so rare that it surpasses the value of luxury cars, grand mansions, or even entire art collections. This is not just a story about money, it's a story about history, craftsmanship, imperfection, and chance. It's about how a tiny mistake in the minting process, invisible to most people, can create a treasure worth hundreds of billions of dollars. The 2016 P. Liberty Dime, known officially as a Roosevelt Dime, was produced at the Philadelphia Mint in large numbers. Most people don't give a second thought to these coins, as billions of dimes circulate every year across the country. But somewhere among those billions, a few extraordinary specimens emerged that defied every expectation, coins that carry mysterious errors, doubled features, misplaced mint marks, and possibly even experimental compositions. Each one tells a story of an unintentional masterpiece born inside the high-speed coin presses of the U.S. Mint. The Roosevelt Dime itself has a rich history. It was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing, and its design has remained largely unchanged ever since. On the obverse, it features Roosevelt's dignified profile, designed by John R. Sinek. The reverse shows a torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. Simple, elegant, and timeless. But as coin collectors know, even the most familiar designs can hide secrets. The 2016 P dime became a legend not for what it was meant to be, but for what went unexpectedly wrong during its creation. To understand why this particular dime is said to be worth an astronomical $201,000 million, we need to explore the world of minting errors and how they turn common coins into once-in-a-lifetime discoveries. Every coin begins as a blank metal disc, known as a planchet, which is fed into a press where it is struck with great force between two engraved dies, one for the front, one for the back. When everything goes perfectly, you get a uniform coin. But if even one tiny thing goes wrong, a misalignment, a wrong planchet, a worn die, or a mechanical shift, something entirely new and valuable is born. One of the most famous types of errors collectors look for in the 2016 P dime is the double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin is engraved more than once but not perfectly aligned each time. As a result, the final coins show doubling in certain areas, usually on the lettering, numbers, or details of the design. Imagine seeing Liberty or I in God We Trust with faint shadows or a second outline, or even the date 2016 appearing slightly doubled. That kind of imperfection instantly captures a collector's attention, as it transforms the coin into a rare and distinctive piece. But that's just the beginning. Another potential feature that could make a 2016 P dime worth such a massive amount is a misplaced or repunched mint mark. The P mint mark on modern dimes indicates that it was minted in Philadelphia. Normally, this mark is perfectly placed and uniform across all coins. However, if the die was misaligned or the mint mark was impressed twice, something extremely rare in modern coinage, the result could be a unique minting anomaly. A repunched or slightly misplaced P could distinguish one coin out of billions, giving it an identity all its own. Collectors have also reported other striking errors in 2016 dimes, including off-center strikes and partial collar errors. An off-center strike occurs when the blank planchet isn't seated correctly in the press, causing part of the design to appear off to one side, sometimes with part of the coin completely blank. The degree of the off-center strike determines the rarity and value. The more extreme it is while still showing the date and mint mark, the more valuable it becomes. A dime struck 30% or 40% off-center with a visible date could fetch tens of thousands, and if combined with another error like doubling or a planchet issue, the value could soar to unimaginable heights. Speaking of planchet errors, these are among the most mysterious and exciting discoveries for coin collectors. Every coin is supposed to be struck on a specific type of metal disc, but sometimes blanks intended for other denominations or years accidentally get mixed in. Imagine a 2016 dime struck on a copper penny blank, or on a nickel planchet, or even on a foreign coin blank used for overseas production. These wrong planchet errors create coins that look slightly different in color, size, or weight, and when verified, they become priceless. The 2016 P dime could be one of these experimental or transitional pieces, which would help explain its incredible value estimate of $201,000 million. Another possibility that makes the 2016 P dime so valuable is a die clash. A die clash happens when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, transferring parts of each design onto the other die. When coins are later struck using these damaged dies, they show ghost-like images of the opposite side's design. For instance, you might see faint outlines of the torch, or branches appearing on Roosevelt's cheek, or traces of his face showing behind the torch on the reverse. These clash marks are extremely rare in modern coins, and when they appear sharply and clearly, they can send collectors into a frenzy. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 2016 P Liberty dime is that it comes from an era of precision, the 21st century, when technology had already reached an advanced level at the U.S. Mint. That makes major errors even rarer, since automated systems and quality checks are designed to prevent such mistakes. But when errors do happen in this modern era, they become legendary because of how unlikely they are. Finding one is like finding a diamond in a field of sand. Experts and collectors also speculate that the 2016 P dime might include a composition or material error. Sometimes during the minting process, blanks with slightly different metallic content are mixed into regular production. If a coin was accidentally struck on a transitional or experimental planchet, say, a slightly different alloy tested for durability or tone, that could make it one of a kind. A single confirmed example of a modern coin with the wrong metal composition can fetch hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions. Combine that with other striking errors, and it's easy to see how the 2016 P dime's value could be estimated in the hundreds of billions range in theoretical or collectible terms. Another rare feature to look out for in valuable 2016 dimes is the full bands detail on the reverse side. The torch on the Roosevelt Dime has two sets of horizontal bands, and when these appear fully defined and separated, the coin is said to have full bands. It indicates a strong, perfect strike and is highly sought after by collectors. Now imagine a coin with major errors, doubling, or misaligned designs, and it still shows perfect full bands. That combination would be nearly impossible and thus unimaginably valuable. Let's also consider the visual anomalies that might appear on the 2016 P dime, such as die cracks, die chips, and cuds. A die crack occurs when the die itself develops a small fracture over time, resulting in raised lines on the struck coin. Die chips appear as small lumps of extra metal, often in or near the letters or designs.